What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. Now, I've been wanting to do this video for a while. I'm going to start doing more videos where I talk about travel. And the reason for this is I think travel is affordable for pretty much everyone, okay? Now, I'm focused on people who are retired, newly retired, people on Social Security, people who are looking at a situation where they have the free time, but they might not have the funds to travel. Now, this video is mainly for people who say that they can't afford to travel, okay? Now, I know this is not for everyone. There are going to be some people that still will not be able to afford to do this, but I'm going to show you that you can do this for about $80, okay? $80 total out of pocket. That's what it would cost you to travel pretty much anywhere in the world. And so I'm going to show you this. That's what the video is going to be about today. Every week, I'm going to start doing a video where I talk about travel just because I want to show you this opportunity that's out there. And I'm going to be honest with you. I did not believe this 5 years ago. I thought this was just, it wasn't real. I thought that people were just talking about this and it wasn't anything. It was just something that it was clickbait, if you want to call it clickbait. But the reality is this works. I've been doing it for 5 years. I've been traveling all over the world. I just got back from a trip. I was out for 2 months in Colombia, and this is what I used. And so I'm going to talk about it in this video. But first off, on this channel, we talk about retirement. We talk about Social Security. We talk about financial news. If that sounds like something interesting to you, please subscribe to the channel and hit that little bell notification. That way you get notified anytime we put out a video. And like always, if you see my name and a picture of me in the comment section, make sure you see a check mark next to my name. That check mark signifies that it's me. If you do not see that check mark, it's not me. It's someone trying to impersonate me. Okay, so we have to talk about this. Travel credit cards. All right. Now, I've been talking about this kind of off and on for the last few months, just kind of letting you guys know this is how I travel. But I want to show you exactly what I do, the credit cards that I get, and I want to show you how many points that you would need in order to travel to Colombia. I'll use Colombia as an example because I just got back from Colombia. So that's still fresh in my mind. I can tell you how many points I used. I can tell you how much I paid out of pocket. And we can move forward so you guys can kind of see, you know what? Yeah, you know what? This could work. This could work for me. All right. So let's go ahead and switch over to my screen here, and we're going to take a look at this credit card. Now, the first thing that you need to do when it comes to getting an airline credit card, because that's what this is. This is an airline branded credit card. I always recommend flying with that airline first. Find out if you like the airline, because that has a lot to do with what credit card you get. American Airlines has their own credit card. JetBlue has their own credit card. United has their own credit card. Delta has their own credit card. Pretty much every airline that's out there, they're going to have a credit card, right? And when you use this credit card, and you can use this credit card for any purchase. You don't have to just use it for travel. You can use it for all of your purchases. You're going to earn points. And with those points, that's what you use to travel. And that's why I said at the very beginning of this video that I paid $80 and that's it. $80 and I used some points, and that's how I booked my flight. Okay, so let's look at some of the key factors when it comes to this credit card. The first thing that you want to focus on when it comes to a credit card, this is the real big selling point. This is what they'll always have listed at the very, very top. It's going to be the bonus miles that you will receive once you get this credit card. And usually they're going to require you to spend money, okay? They want you to spend on this credit card. Now, I want to let you guys know, when it comes to credit cards and the way that I deal with credit cards and the way that I recommend using these credit cards, you pay them off every month. If you are not the type of person that can pay your credit cards off every month in full, this is not for you. Okay, this is not going to work for you because you're going to end up paying interest on these credit cards. That's what you need to avoid. You need to pay these credit cards off every month, and that's very, very important. And what I would recommend for you, if you're in a situation where you're not comfortable doing that, maybe get a credit card and just put a little bit on that credit card every month and pay it off in full every month, just so you get used to doing that. And then maybe you can increase your levels. But when it comes down to it, it needs to be paid off. The credit card needs to be paid off every month. You never pay interest on any credit card. The credit cards that offer points are really good credit cards, but the interest rates are really high. So any credit card that you have, whether you're getting points on a credit card or not, you need to pay them off every month in full. Okay, that's how you get in a debt. You don't want to get in a debt. All right, so first thing here, 70,000 bonus miles. Okay, and we're going to look at the details here in a minute. Now, this is also something that might turn people off, but I'm going to explain why this is still a benefit for you. So we have the bonus miles right here. We just talked about that. Now, looking here, okay, you have an annual fee on this credit card. Now, the first year you don't have to pay the annual fee, so that's good. But after that, you're going to be paying $95 a year. Okay. Now, some people might think, you know what? There's no way in the world I'm paying an annual fee for a credit card. That makes no sense. But the way that I look at it when it comes to credit cards, and I have right now, I think I have 8 credit cards. When it comes to credit cards, as long as I can get value out of that card every year, that $95 is okay for me to pay. I'm fine paying $95 if I can get the value out of this credit card. And I'll show you how you can get value out of a credit card. Okay, so that's there. So we got that out of the way. We have the 70,000 bonus miles. Now, the way that you get these 70,000 bonus miles is you have to meet whatever their qualifications are. Okay, so they're going to tell you right here, up to 70,000 miles, you need to spend $3,000 in purchases in the first 3 months. Now, you might be looking at this and saying, well, I don't have $3,000 to spend in 3 months. Well, think of it like this. If you use this credit card instead of using your debit card, would you meet that qualification of $3,000 in 3 months? So let's say you go to the grocery store. Let's say you spend $1,000 a month in groceries and all the other little items, and we're excluding a rent or mortgage and car payments. So we're just talking about all the other little things that you spend money on. You probably spend $1,000 a month. Okay, so if you spend that $1,000 a month in 3 months, you're going to have the $3,000 to meet that qualification. So guess what? At that point, you're going to receive 60,000 bonus points. Okay. Now this is actually good. 60,000 is good because just a few months ago, it was 50,000 total. Okay. They didn't even offer the 70,000. So this is a new offer here, 70,000 bonus miles. Okay. So now moving forward, in order to get this additional 10,000 bonus miles to meet the 70,000, because you get 60,000 here and then you can get an extra 10,000, you have to spend $6,000 total in 6 months. Okay, so it would be the same formula there. Let's say if you're spending about $1,000 a month, then you would meet that threshold for the 6 months, and you get that extra 10,000 bonus miles. Okay, so we have that out of the way. So let's just say you can't see yourself spending that 6,000 in 6 months, but you know that you can spend the 3,000. So let's just say we're around here at about 60,000 bonus miles. Okay, so that's what you would get there. Now we're going to talk a little bit about how I use the bonus miles and how many bonus miles I needed to use in order to travel to Colombia. And basically, when I travel to Colombia, the points that I'm using, look at the neighboring countries around there, and you're going to be using about the same amount of points. Okay, so if you're traveling in South America, for the most part, you're going to be using the same amount of points. Now, if you're traveling to, let's say, Thailand or China, you're traveling a little further, you're probably going to use more points. Okay, you might use 80,000 or 90,000 instead of 70,000 or 75,000. Okay, so let's look at how this card works, because we know that you get the bonus. You'll get that bonus in that first 3 months if you hit the spending limit. Now, you also get extra points just for using the card. This is a credit card, so you can use this for all of your purchases. What I do is I use my credit card for every purchase that I make. The only time I'm not using my credit card is if I have cash, I have to use cash, then I'll use cash. But other than that, anywhere that I can use a debit card, I'm not using that debit card. I'm using my credit card, and I'm paying it off every month. The reason that I use the credit card is because I'm earning points with the credit card. If I use my debit card, guess what? I get nothing back. If I use cash, guess what? I get nothing back. And also, when you use credit cards, you get certain protections that you're not going to get with a debit card or if you use cash. You get extended warranties. You get a lot of different things when it comes to credit cards that you might not think about. Another thing when it comes to this card, this United card, and we'll talk a little bit about it in the future, or we'll talk about it right now. So you get a free checked bag. So if I use this credit card to book my flight, I get a free checked bag. And that's good because that could be equivalent to about $25 depending on who you're flying with. And the reason I say who you're flying with, you might be flying with United, but you might also be flying with their partners. Okay, so a good example is when I'm flying to Colombia, United doesn't fly straight to Colombia. You have to fly on Avianca. Avianca is a partner with United. They honor the same PreCheck bag and all that. So if I'm using my United credit card, I'm booking it on United, they're going to honor that and give me a PreCheck bag. So that's how that works. Okay, let's move back up because I want to talk a little bit about how you earn points. Okay, so we know the big bonus there, the 70,000, which the reality is, let's just keep it the minimum there. 60,000 is what you would earn in that first 3 months. Now, when I'm using my credit card for all of my purchases, if I'm purchasing anything that has to do with United, I'm getting 2 points for every dollar spent. Okay, so that's what that means, and those points start to add up. Now, and if you're doing this over a year span, then yes, you're gonna have some points that you've accrued, and then you'll be able to use those points for travel or for airfare. Okay, so you're going to get the 2 points for every dollar spent on United purchases. You're also going to get 2 points for every dollar spent dining. So any place, and we're talking about fast food, or if you go into a restaurant, if you use this card, you're going to get 2 points for every dollar spent. Okay. Now, when you're booking hotel stays, you're going to get 2 points for every dollar spent. So if I book a hotel, let's say I want to stay at the Hyatt, I have a Hyatt credit card, so I would use my Hyatt credit card in this case because I get more points with that. But if I didn't have a Hyatt credit card and I wanted to book a room at a Hyatt, I'm going to use this credit card to get 2 points for every dollar spent there. Okay, and then you're going to get 1 point for every dollar spent on all other purchases. So just going into the grocery store, let's say I want to buy some eggs, I go in the grocery store, I'm going to get at least 1 point for every dollar that I spend. Okay, so over time, you can see that you're into the thousands of points just by using your credit card. Okay, so let's look at some of the other perks here, and this is a good perk. If you've never been into a lounge, LAX, United Lounge in LAX is pretty nice. And most airports, they're going to have lounges, and United they have a wide variety of different lounges all over the U.S. and in some other countries. Now, the United lounges they're nice, but they don't have all the amenities. Okay, but you'll have free snacks, you'll have water, you'll have alcohol, you'll have different things like that, and it's a nice place to just kind of go and relax. You're not around everyone else in the terminal. You don't hear all the noise and everything going on when it comes to being in the regular terminal. And so it's kind of a nice little retreat before your flight. So that's good. And some of these lounges are really nice where they have showers and things like that. And I don't know if you've ever taken a shower at an airport. It sounds weird. I know it does. But I had a long flight, like a 5-hour flight. And then I had a layover, a couple of hours of a layover. Then I was getting back on the plane. And the best feeling in the world was being able to go into a lounge and take a shower and then get back on the next plane, because you know how you feel. I don't know. I feel really sticky and just weird when I'm flying a long haul flight, and then I get off the plane. You just feel, I don't know. It just feels weird. So taking that shower is something that I highly recommend if you have that opportunity. United, you're gonna have to check with United. I don't know all their lounges, what lounges offer showers or not. But when I took a shower, it wasn't at one of those lounges. It was a different lounge. Okay. So we talked about the PreCheck bag. So you get that. So you're going to save money just by the PreCheck bag. And this is where I'm talking about when we're talking about this $95, how to get the value out of that $95 we were talking about over here. You start looking at some of the different perks that you'll get with this credit card, just having the credit card. And one of the perks is this PreCheck bag. So if I'm flying, let's say I do 2 trips per year, and I do this on a regular basis, and I get this United credit card, and I start flying on United, and I get the PreCheck bag because I use this credit card when I book my flight, I can get, let's just say $25 each way. So that's $50, and that's for 1 trip, but I do 2 trips a year. So I'm already saving $100, okay, just by doing that. All right, so that in itself is a perk, and that's just for me. If you have people traveling with you, they also get check bags. PreCheck bag. I don't see it on here. I'm sure it's down in the information there, but if you have someone traveling with you, they get some PreCheck bags as well. I don't know exactly how many there are, so I have to look further into that. Priority boarding. This is something I like too. So when I'm flying, I like to get on the plane first. Although some airlines now they're changing their rules, and because of COVID, what they're doing is they're starting from the back of the plane first. And so if you're in the back of the plane, you get on first, and then they move up to the front, which is smart. I think that's the way they should do it. Avianca they do that. I think Avianca was doing this even before the pandemic. But it's a smart way to do it. The only thing that they'll do is if you are in business class or first class, they will let you on first, and then they'll do from the back to the front. But I think it's a good way to do it, because then you don't have everybody just crossing paths. I mean, you have people who are in the front, they get on first, and then you have everybody else getting on after. It makes it a lot better to do it the other way. So that's something. Priority boarding, you'll get that. So if you are flying, you get the priority boarding with United. And United, I think they still do it the traditional way, where the first people on the plane are usually business class, first class, and then you have like your people who pay a little bit more for extra room seats and stuff like that. Okay, something else we want to look at here: global entry TSA PreCheck. This is if you're traveling, period, this is something that you should really look into. Now, this is additional money, but the beauty of this credit card is it's free. So if you get global entry, and I say global entry because you have two different ones. So let's look at this. So you have TSA PreCheck. Okay, so that's one. And then you also have global entry. So they're saying you get up to $100 on global entry, TSA PreCheck. So what I recommend, most people will tell me, I don't plan on traveling outside of the country, so TSA PreCheck is what I want. Now, what TSA PreCheck is TSA PreCheck is when you go to the airport, you go through a separate line when you go through the security checkpoint. You go through a separate line. You don't have to take your shoes off. You don't have to do all that stuff. You don't have to take your computers out of your bag or anything like that. What they do is they do a background on you. And so you fill out an application. You can do it online. You set up an appointment and you meet with a customs agent. So the customs agent will do an interview with you, and then they will issue you basically a card that says that you have TSA PreCheck. They give you a known traveler number. The known traveler number is what's key. The card you don't really need. You're never going to use that. But that known traveler number, that's what you're going to plug into your information when you're filling out, when you're booking your flight. And what they'll do is when you go and you get your actual ticket, it's going to have TSA PreCheck on there. So that TSA PreCheck means anywhere in the U.S., I can go through a separate line. I don't have to take my shoes off. I don't have to do all that stuff. Okay, so that's a huge benefit. Now, what I recommend, though, I don't recommend getting TSA PreCheck. What I recommend doing, because TSA PreCheck's $85, I recommend getting global entry. And the reason that I recommend getting global entry, and global entry is basically when you're coming back into the U.S. When you're coming back in through the U.S., you go through a separate line, and you have to go through customs when you come back in. But that separate line allows you to just move quickly through. And I'll tell you a story that just happened to me last week. So global entry, the reason that I recommend global entry, and global entry is $100. So TSA PreCheck, $85. Global entry is $100. But guess what? Global entry, if you get global entry, you get TSA PreCheck with that. So you get both of them. And so that's why I always recommend global entry, because if you get TSA PreCheck, you're only going to get TSA PreCheck. You're not going to get global entry. And even if you don't travel, you don't plan to travel outside the country, it's still a benefit to have global entry, because you might be in a situation where you're traveling outside the country and now you can use a global entry. Okay. And this global entry TSA PreCheck is good for 5 years. So I had a story coming back from Colombia. And basically the way it works, and when you come back into LAX, for whatever reason, they make you walk through this long gauntlet to get to customs. So anyway, came down, walked through this long gauntlet, got to the very, very end where they're starting to separate people. People that are U.S. citizens go here. People who are not U.S. citizens go there. And then you have global entry. They go to a separate line. And so, of course, I go to the global entry line, and there's nobody there, and it's just kiosks. That's all it is. When you go to global entry, all it is a bunch of machines, look like ATM machines. And some of them are even smaller now. They almost look like, if you guys are familiar with the, when you go to like a wedding now and they have the little, what do you call it, the little photo booth thing. but it's not an actual booth. It's just like a thing that with a like an iPad screen in front of you. But basically, when I went through Global Entry this time, it was much more streamlined. Before, you had to actually go there, you put your passport on the machine, and it will scan your passport, and then it takes a picture of you, and then I think you even put your fingerprints on there, and then you answer a few questions. Now, they do it's even a lot faster. All you do is you walk up to the machine, you look at the machine, you take down your mask, and it takes a picture of you. And that's it. And that picture goes straight to the customs agent who's actually seated right there at the exit. And then you just walk over to him and he says, do you have anything to declare? Nope. Okay, have a good day. And you just walk out. So it literally takes not even a minute to do this whole process. And so I highly recommend Global Entry, because if not, then what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to go into a line, stand in line, and then go through that way. So I can't overemphasize Global Entry. Now, the good thing about this is you get this for free with a credit card. If you use this credit card when you make your purchase of Global Entry, they will credit your account. Okay, so that's something that's good to know. Now, let's say you're on the plane, and for whatever reason, the planes now, they're really, and I think it has to do with the pandemic and everything else, but they're not offering food on a lot of these flights. It's ridiculous, but they're just not doing it. I flew with my family to Hawaii last year. They didn't offer any food. I mean, they offer food. I was flying business class, so they offer food to me, but my parents, they were flying, they were flying economy, and they did not offer any food. So I just thought that was, I mean, it's the way it is now. Airlines are really, really cutting back. And so it does help to get this 25% off if you want to make some purchases in flight. Let's say you do want to buy some food, you can do that. Okay, no foreign transaction fees. Now, this is big if you're traveling outside the country. Obviously, if you're using your credit card, you don't have any different transaction fees, and that's another reason why when I'm traveling, I try to use my credit card as many places as possible, because one, I want to save the cash that I have, so I don't want to have to keep going to the bank and pulling out cash, and so I want to use my credit card as much as possible, and plus, I can always have my credit card on me as well. I mean, I don't like to carry a lot of cash on me, so I can always have my credit card on me. If someone steals my credit card, guess what? I call the bank, say, hey, my credit card's been stolen or it's missing, and they'll cancel the card and they'll send me out another one. And they're very, very good. Even if you're in another country, they will send those credit cards out to you very, very fast. You can get it within a couple of days. Okay, so let's move right along. I just want to kind of skim through the rest of this. I've told you guys the main key factors when it comes to this credit card and why you would want to consider it. But you also earn miles. I'm not going to get into all the details here, but no blackout dates. That's good. So you can book on any day. So they're not going to tell you, okay, you can't use points on this day, or you can't use points on that day. So that's good. Your points don't expire. This is another good thing. So let's say I earned 70,000 points and it's 3 years from now, and I want to use those points. Sometimes in the past, if you didn't use your credit card, or if you had points in there for over a year, over 2 years, your points would expire, but they don't expire anymore. So that's good. Travel purchase coverage. So you get, depending on the credit cards, and like I said, I'm not going to go into everything here. You're going to have to read the fine details when it comes to some of this stuff, but you do get travel insurance on some of these credit cards. And that's good, because if I'm traveling outside the country, or I'm traveling anywhere, let's say I lose my bags, or I have an issue, some of these credit cards will give you some travel insurance. Okay. Okay. So we have the luxury hotels. This is just different little benefits that they're offering here. But like I said, I'm not going to go over all the fine details, but I wanted to go over some of the key factors. Okay. And the major takeaways from here, and we'll kind of come back here and talk about some of the major takeaways. The global entry, this is key. So if you don't have global entry, this is a good way to get global entry. Get this credit card, you're going to get global entry for free. You'll have global entry for 5 years. And then guess what? When you want to get global entry again, when you want to renew it, you can go ahead and go back to this, use that same credit card, and you're going to get that $100 off again. Priority boarding is something that I really like. The free check bag is something that I think is a benefit, a real huge benefit, because now you have to pay for your bags. And back in the day, you didn't have to do that. But all the airlines are on the same page when it comes to that. Everybody has to pay for bags. So it's good to always get that free check bag by using this credit card. The club passes, this is not a necessity, but it is something that's nice to have. And then just looking at this, earning the points. This is something that's big. Using this credit card for all of your purchases, and that you have to change the way you do things. But if you can do that, you can really rack up the points. Okay. And then you have and we're going to say here 60,000 bonus miles. Okay. And that's going to be $3,000 within the first 3 months. And then you'll get that 60,000 right now. If you want to spend an additional 3,000, you're going to get 10,000 extra points, and that will hit that 70,000. So that's how that all works, right? Now, the first year, you don't have to worry about the $95 annual fee, but after that, you are going to have to pay an annual fee. But as I stated, if you're going to travel, if you're looking to travel, you are going to be able to recoup that $95. Okay, so you're not just going to lose that $95. You're not just giving it away. You'll be able to get the free check bags if you do that. If you don't have TSA PreCheck or global entry, you'll be able to get that. That's the value there. And then using the points and just earning points and being able to use those points, you're going to be able to justify that $95. Okay. Now, I want to talk just a little bit about my last trip and how many points I used. So on my last trip, and we were looking here, 60,000 bonus miles. On my last trip, I used about, I'm going to round it up to 75,000. 75,000 points is what I used. And I paid $81 out of pocket. Okay. And I was flying business class round trip. And so that's what I did. Now, if you want to fly economy, you can fly economy. You might spend maybe 40 to 50,000 points. Okay. And that's an economy round trip ticket. And some people are fine with economy. I'm going to tell you one thing. I was fine with economy for many, many years. But when I started traveling business class, it kind of changed my viewpoint. And now I like to fly business class or first class whenever possible. And it makes it affordable because the bottom line is, let's say I'm flying economy, I'm still going to have to pay the $81. So I'll pay the $81. I'll use 50,000 points, or I'll use 75,000 points and I'll pay $81. So I'm still going to have to pay the money out of pocket. I just need to use a little bit more points in order to fly business class. But it makes sense to fly business class now, just because of the experience. You get the meal. In a lot of situations, you get the lie flat seat where you can lay the seat all the way back and go to sleep. My trip back from Colombia, I flew on a 787, a Dreamliner, and very, very nice plane. Very nice plane. And it had the lie flat seat, so I was able to lie down, get some rest. And so it's a real benefit to use points. And I will tell you, I would not pay for one of those seats in business class because those seats go $3,000-$4,000. But if I'm using points, 75,000 points and $81. That's what I would be paying. So I just wanted to put this video out there just to let you guys see, look, this is how I do it. And if you are on a fixed income, you can do the same thing. All you need to do is change the way you spend. So instead of using your debit card, which most people use debit card now, instead of using that debit card, use your credit card. Every month, pay it off. And what I recommend, and this is how I started paying every 2 weeks. So I would get paid every 2 weeks. This is when I was still working. I would get paid every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, I would pay off my credit cards in full. That way I didn't run a balance to where it was too much for me to even look at and think, oh, wow, I can't pay this $3,000 all up front. So let me just pay $1,500 now, and then I'll pay $1,500 next month. No. You don't want to do that. You want to pay it off in full every month. And so what I started doing is every 2 weeks, and then I got comfortable. And then now I know, okay, you know what? I'm not running my credit cards up too high. I know kind of my limit. And so once I get to that point, then I stop. I might even, because I have multiple credit cards now, sometimes I'll use a credit card and then I'll stop, and then I'll use another credit card, then I'll stop and then use another credit card, and then I'm paying them off in full every month. So that's the key. But I just wanted to put that out there. Most of us have to spend money every month, right? And if you're spending money every month, use your credit card. Don't use your debit card. Try not to use cash if you can, and you can earn points. And before you know, you've racked up enough points, and you can look and say, hey, I have enough to fly across the U.S. And just so you know, kind of give you kind of a ballpark when it comes to flying round trip. Let's say you want to fly from California to New York. That's generally about 25 to 30,000 points. That's a round trip economy seat. Okay. So that gives you kind of an idea. So if you have 60,000 bonus points, that's enough. And that you can get that within 3 months, as long as you hit that spending limit of 3,000. Now you have 60,000 bonus points. That's enough for 2 people. You could fly a round trip from California to New York. Okay. From one end of the US to the other end of the US. So if you guys have any other questions or anything about this credit card or any credit cards or travel related questions or any questions, really, let me know down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.